we can kick this off. Good evening and welcome to NAIT's Alumni Lifelong Learning Event, Thanksgiving Cooking Demo presented by Stephen. As in our tradition at NAIT, we honor and acknowledge that the land of which we learn, work, and live is Treaty 6 territory. We seek to learn from history and lessons that have come before us and draw on the wisdom of the first people in Canada. Only through learning we can move forward in truth and reconciliation and to a better future together. My name is Claire Seal and I'm a proud NAIT alumnus and member of NAIT's Alumni Association Advisory Committee. Today, I'm happy to serve as your host. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items. The presentations will be recorded. Upon entry, your microphone was automatically muted. However, we encourage you to turn on the video so we can see you. If you post about tonight's cooking demo on your social media, we actually encourage you to do so. Please tag us so we can reshare. Please use the chat feature or raise your hand. Questions will be addressed through the presentation. As NAIT alumni, you are automatically members of the NAIT Alumni Association. The Alumni Association has benefits like today's event and other events, discounts, and services. Today's event is sponsored by our affinity program partner, TD Insurance Melange Monix. As alumni, you receive the preferred rate on TD home, car, and travel insurance. So for more information, visit the alumni website at nait.ca/alumni. Now, let's meet our presenter, Stephen. Stephen is a graduate of the Culinary Arts program at NAIT. He is born and raised in Edmonton. Stephen knew from a young age that the family and food are tightly connected and was fascinated by the important relationship they have each other. This is why drew him to pursue his career in hospitality. Stephen is the owner of chef of Milk Crate, where he manages catering, special dinners, cooking classes, and consulting. Stephen and I go back to his business in Milk Crate because I'm a regular customer. I visit his shops whenever I have a meeting and then nearby in downtown, and it's a great latte and coffee. So if you have any time to check out his shop, I encourage you to visit to check out his sandwich and the coffee that goes in the perfect partner together. Stephen loves cooking directly with guests to create something unique and spectacular for them and digging into the history of food and culture to bring out amazing stories to be able to express with food. So I welcome Stephen.
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Claire. That was very kind. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a virtual cooking class. You're in my home. Thank you for letting me into yours. This is very exciting. Today we are doing a very simple turkey one-pan meal. The premise of this dish was to be a little cost-effective and low stress. So during Thanksgiving, it's a 2-hour recipe that you can even make ahead of time and just cook it in the oven. This was supposed to take a lot of stress out of the holidays, both for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. So we've got a couple things here. I know Claire touched on some housekeeping. Obviously, we've all used Zoom and WebEx and Skype and FaceTime, so we all know about muting ourselves, unmuting ourselves, all of that. In this kitchen, I've got 2 cameras, one looking at me, looking at you, and one over top of our stove, so you'll be able to see the action going on over there as well. If you see that my eye line drops over here, it's because I'm not used to looking directly at the camera, so where we're at. If you have any questions at all during the presentation, please feel free to just unmute yourself and shout out questions or comments. It could be about this, it could be about anything, life, whatever you need. We're here for it. If you are cooking along with me, which is cool, I am going to try and be 5 minutes ahead of you, and I will stop and wait for you to join me. If I don't hear anyone, I'm just going to assume it's a yes, we're okay to move on, and we'll go from there. But if you want me to stop and slow down, feel free to let Claire or raise your hand, all that, and just let us know that you're not ready. And we'll wait for you. This should take around 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on where we get. And based on how this demonstration goes, we might leave you at 7:30. It's like, it's in the oven, it's baking. When it's cooked, and that kind of stuff. Or if we have time, we'll go all the way to the end. Sound good? Perfect. Claire, how are we looking? We okay?
Yeah, you look fantastic.
Well, I wasn't. All right. Wasn't going for that. So, if you're going to be cooking along with me, we need to set our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. My oven here at home is a standard still heat oven, which means heat comes from the bottom and does not rotate around, so it's not a convection oven. So if you have a convection oven, please set your oven to 325. Reason for that is air moving makes your oven hotter because there's a difference between temperature and heat, the whole thing. We also have a large pot of boiling water with a couple spoons or forks in it. We're going to be wrapping our turkey breast in salt and pepper and plastic wrap and poaching it in that liquid over there. Okay, everyone feeling good? All right. So we have some turkey breasts from any store at all. It's a nice cheap cut of meat. Also, it's white, so picky eaters are okay with this. If you have an entire turkey, you can ask your butcher to debone it for you and then roll it. But you can also do this with chicken as well. I've got the pieces of plastic wrap, just like this.
And Stephen, just
Yes.
monitoring the chat, can you confirm the temperature again?
375.
Thank you.
No problem.
And there is also comments that we always pre-cook the turkey a couple of days ahead and rewarm to reduce the stress of the day. So that's a nice tip.
Great, amazing. You're miles ahead. It's a seasoned cooker right there. So we hit this with a generous amount of salt and pepper. And just a reminder, if you are cooking along with me, I am going to stop and wait for you, but I am going to push forward a little bit because it's better for me to be ahead of you. That way I can see any problems. Once you have your salt and pepper on both sides, we're going to wrap the turkey just on itself, and we're going to be making kind of like just a tube of turkey. Get to the end, nice tight seal, wrap, wrap, wrap. You can do this with 1 or 2 bits, and then once you get your turkey nice and tight, we are going to just tie off the ends. Tie it one more time. Now you have a turkey breast that's in a tube. This is going to be placed in our pot of water that is scalding or just before boiling. The cutlery that's in there is preventing the plastic from sticking to the bottom of the pot. That way you don't have melted plastic at the bottom of your pot. Depending on your pots, that probably won't ever happen, but if you have a cheaper set of cookware, like some of us do, this will help just add that little extra bit of safety. We're going to let that poach for about 30 minutes. It's going to cook all the way through. The reason why we're doing this is that turkey is going to cook in that plastic wrap. All those juices are going to stay in there. It's going to cook in its own fat. This is a similar technique to sous vide, which is French for under pressure. And you've seen those with like circulator baths or backpack machines. This is just that on a very low budget and without all the fancy gimmicks, because you don't need them, because you're a smart, independent cook. Okay. Turkey is in the water. Any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Excellent.
Good in the chat, but if anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. So far, so good.
Great. Okay.
Could you use a Ziploc bag?
You could use a Ziploc bag. The only challenge there is it won't keep its shape. So if you just like fire all this into a Ziploc bag, it'll be fine, but it won't be as round and tubular. And if you're okay with that, that's totally fine. Also, that reminds me, quick note, while I'm making food for me, I'm not in your kitchen. So your kitchen, your rules. If you don't like pepper, you don't have to add it. If you don't like what I'm doing and you want to go your own way, like, oh, I'm going to order a pizza, go ahead. I'm not there. I'm not going to blast you on Yelp, whatever. This is your food, your dinner. So please make sure that you're making food that you will enjoy. Also, I can't taste or smell anything. So if you want to describe what's happening in your kitchen, I can help you out and we can play some sort of charade game. But that's where we're at. Excellent. Okay, oven's on. Turkey's in our water. I'm just gonna wait 5 more seconds just to have anyone tell me that they don't want me to move on. Perfect. Here we go. We're now gonna build our little 1-pan tray. So we have a roasting pan. We're gonna grab some carrots, some potatoes, an apple, and some onion, and we have some fun. You can add butternut squash, parsnips, anything like that, any fall vegetables that you have kicking around your house, anything hearty that can take a bit of abuse in the oven, that's what we want here. With our pan, we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, just the inside. We're gonna take 2 garlic bulbs, cut them in half, and we're gonna put them on the opposite corners of a roasting pan. So sorry, that was 1 garlic bulb cut in half. So it should look like that on the inside. What's gonna happen there is these are gonna roast. That roasted garlic is gonna leak out into the bottom of the pan and make everything taste like roasted garlic. If you want, you can grab another clove of garlic, pop out some cloves. We'll use 6. If you've never played around with real garlic or garlic in bulb, if you've got peeled garlic, no judgment, that's great. Get your garlic out of the bulb by pushing it down with your knife, a little bit of pressure, and you should just be able to unwrap your garlic just like this. We're going to do that with the remaining cloves. You're all doing so great. Chat's so quiet. I'm just here alone with my thoughts. This is great.
I'm sure they're doing great, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
And anything I find adding garlic to cooking, it just add another layer of flavor, which I very much enjoy.
Oh, I love it. And I can't stand recipes that call for like, ooh, 1 clove of garlic. Whatever. Give me 4 and up every time.
Absolutely.
All right, with our garlic cloves, we're gonna chop them either thin or chunky, whatever you want. I'm just gonna put a rough slice on them. I don't want them too thin because I want them to kind of not overcook or burn when they're in the oven with all the other hearty vegetables. So our garlic is gonna be sliced. Got my cutting board, and we're just gonna put that over to the side. Now, if you've never played with an onion, we're gonna talk about how to cut an onion. Big old onion. If you're a crier, I have a little tip and trick that might help. So I don't know the exact science here, but if you take a stainless steel spoon and put it in your mouth while you cut the onion, you'll never cry. I believe it's the enzymes here are attracted to stainless steel and they won't go to your eye. I wear contacts so they don't really bother me, but if you want to try it, please feel free to go ahead and let us know if it worked. Tops and bottoms off your onion. Cut in half. Get off. And we're just going to do a slice or chop, whatever you're comfortable with. If you're thinking of doing a dice, I'll show you that. But right now we're going to do a slice across. Perfect. If you're going to do a dice, onions are a rainbow. If you slice your knife at an angle, changing its approach every time, when you chop like this, it'll come out in cubes. That makes sense. I heard that back in my head. I'm like, wild. Maybe. Taking silence as a yes. Oh, you're a genius. Oh, thank you. So again, we're changing the angle of our knife. And then done. So if you like onion, you can add this much onion. I'm only going to use a small amount of this. I just wanted to do a little onion demo for you. We're going to add the onion and garlic to the pan. We're going to grab a small bunch of carrots, peeled or washed, or however you like your carrots. Go for it. Take these little bottoms off. And I'm going to cut the carrots into thumb-sized pieces. If you want to do a dice or a rough chop, or even if you have a bag of baby carrots, that's fine too. But again, my thumb, the size of a carrot. We'll add those to the pan here. Potatoes. I've got 4 little potatoes here. We're just going to do a large dice. If you have baby potatoes, you can just cut them in half. Or if you want, you can do wedges, whatever you're feeling. But remember, the smaller the potato, the faster it's going to cook. So I'm just doing a big, rough, rustic chop on these potatoes around this size. Claire, how are we doing in the chat there? Anybody lost, confused, falling behind?
No, we were just having fun in the chat. Some tips
Oh, good.
on cutting the onions. Lori said that turn on the cold water. It seems to work when chopping onions, which I find a good tip because I wear swimming goggles for chopping onions.
Excellent. Good. Have you ever done the plastic wrap around your head?
That I haven't tried, but swimming goggles I did.
Good.
And I'm noticing that whenever I speak, I'm on the spotlight, no longer Steve, but I think it's fixed now, so that's good too.
Okay.
Or yeah.
Okay. So quick review. Ooh. Maybe you're still in the spotlight?
I don't know, Tammy, am I on the spotlight?
Not on my end.
Okay, good. It should be Steve, not me. Okay, we're good.
Perfect. Okay. So quick review: carrots, any other root vegetables you want, potatoes, garlic and onion, and garlic cloves cut in half in our roasting pan. We have a Granny Smith apple. We're going to do a rough chop on that as well, but we're going to keep our core. This is a washed apple, sticker removed. Core of the apple, right here in the center of the pan. Easy. The rest of the apple, we're going to chop up, add it to our pan.
Is there a reason why that piece is in the center?
Yes, it is. There you go.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put our some bread around the apple, and we're going to roast the turkey on top of this apple. The turkey juices are going to go into the apple. The apple is going to steam. It's going to season the bread, coming in with the garlic oil from the corners. We've got a flavor storm happening here. This is very exciting.
Yummy.
Also, you just don't waste an apple core. There's a bunch of pectin and flavor in here. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. So this is what our pan looks like so far. We're all doing great. We're doing amazing. We're flying through this. We're gonna grab some bread now. This could be sourdough, this could be just buns, whatever, Wonder Bread, anything lying around, even just a bag of croutons, whatever you want. This is gonna be a stuffing that happens around the turkey. Now, some people still don't know this, but if you're making stuffing at home, do you put it in the bird? And if you do, you know why that's bad? Question group. So if your stuffing is inside a raw turkey, your stuffing needs to be 150 degrees to cook and kill any bad bacteria. Now, if the inside of your bird is 180, that means the outside of your bird, the breast and thighs and all that, is going to be way over 180. And that's how your turkey is dry. So either you have a moist bird and a stuffing that kills people, or you have a stuffing that's safe, but a turkey that's very dry. So best thing to do, get a crock pot, get some turkey stock, and cook it separately.
Good to know. There's a science behind it.
Always. Okay. Okay. So we have, oh, there's a question coming. I can feel it.
Oh, just a comment Lori says, because the bird is raw.
Yes, exactly. Lori gets it. Okay. So we have a roasting pan. Garlic, carrots, potatoes, onions, garlic, apple core, and bread around the apple core. Turkey will sit here when it comes out of our little poach. And then we're going to drizzle everything with olive oil, salt, pepper, and bake it. The turkey is going to drop all of its juices into the pan. The apple is going to also leak out as well. And everything's just going to get to know itself. So at this point, we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. If you want to add anything like sage or rosemary, especially to our turkey, that's going to be kind of living on top here, we're going to build a little fort of thyme, a bit of sage. That's just going to live right up here. Sprig of rosemary. This will be removed after or brought back as like a garnish piece, but this is going to help season everything else down below here. A little bit of olive oil on top. And that's it. We're done. Congratulations, everyone. We made it. Your turkey dinner is prepped and ready to go. Thanks for joining. I'm kidding. I'm gonna wait here for a minute if anyone has any questions, thoughts, comments. Oh. Okay, great.
We're so good in the chat.
Perfect. So we're gonna be waiting just a little bit longer for our turkey here, and we'll check in on it. If you're noticing that, well, you can flip it if you're a barbarian like me with your hands, or with a tong, you can move it around, and it's just gonna slowly cook here. We're not boiling, we're just at a nice low poach or scald. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to tuck this into the oven. So our roasting pan has gone into the oven at 375. What's going to happen here is, in the interest of time, we're going to start cooking our vegetables now. They're going to start to soften. When the turkey meets it, they'll continue to cook together. If we were preparing this for, I don't know, Friday for a meal on Sunday, turkey comes out, you can poach it, your vegetables are raw, take your turkey out, put it on top of that entire unit, let everything cool down, wrap it in plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and then 90 minutes before your guests walk through the door, fire the turkey pan back in the oven. It's going to cook all the vegetables because at that point, that's the only raw thing there. And then you'll be good to go. Your turkey will still be moist because of all the juices it saved. And the steam from the apple and bread and vegetables in there are going to help keep it moist.
And Steve, there is a question in the chat about the water in the pot. Should water be covering the turkey?
Yes. So, hold on. Water should, let's go back over to our little turkey friend here. So my turkey is just starting to poke out here. So you can always add more water to it. If you're noticing that your air pocket in the turkey is preventing it, is making it float, what you can do is you can take a dish rag and put it over top, or just to keep heat in, put a lid on the pot. That way, even the air above it will still be hot enough to keep the heat on the turkey. Great question. Okay, so in 30 minutes, we've prepped Thanksgiving dinner, and no one's yelled yet. It's been great. There's no one crying in the corner. There's no one stressing out about temperatures or anything. This is fantastic. Super easy. We also have cranberries that we're going to add to the pan later. Okay, I'm feeling good. Feeling really good. While our turkey cooks and our vegetables begin to roast, we're going to make a pie dough for our pâte dessert. Are there any French Canadian speakers here? You might obviously know that I am butchering that pronunciation. I'm sorry. But what it translates to is nun's fart, because this dessert is easy as a nun farting. It's not my expression. It's not my metaphor. I'm sorry. It's part of the Quebecois lore. It's terrible because they can't hear the groans and the laughter. So we're gonna make a quick pie dough. This pie dough was included in your recipe package, and we are going to. It's a great pie dough for any occasion. Like, it's a really foolproof pie dough, he says before making it on camera. What could go wrong? So, if you're cooking along, 2.5 cups or 9 ounces of weight of flour, a tablespoon or 20 grams of sugar, 1 egg, and 180 grams of butter. We could mix this in a bowl with our hands, dough cutter, or we could use an electric mixer. I'm going to use this KitchenAid behind me here, so I'm going to turn my back to you for a second. And we're just going to mix this dough until it comes together. Not like this, KitchenAid. Not like this. There we go. Great. Flour into our KitchenAid mixer bowl. We're going to add the 180 grams of cold butter, 1 egg. If you use a Robocoop, this works as well, or a food processor. Salt, that was sugar, sorry. And here's a pinch of salt. We're going to mix this up. That's just going to get to know itself for a minute and spin. And then once the dough is combined, it should be a little bit crumbly and wet. We're going to add 20 milliliters of water, or enough water just to bring the dough together. And then we're going to wrap it up in plastic wrap and chill it for a little bit in the freezer to help rest the dough. That way, when we roll it out, it'll be easier to work with. Questions, comments, concerns about dough? Made it. Flawless. No notes. Excellent work, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Questions are in the chat feed. So 180 grams of butter or 120 grams?
What did I say? It should be 120 grams of butter. That was a test. Well done, everybody.
120 gram it is. And second question, what speed and dough paddle?
The paddle. Sorry, is
Yeah.
that the question? Whisker paddle?
Yeah. What speed does it that needs to?
I'm on speed 1 and with a paddle attachment. I'm just going really low right now because I didn't want a huge flour explosion. I'm going to add a little bit of water right now. And that's going to bring the dough together. I've now turned it up to speed 2 and added just a splash more water. The dough is starting to look a little crummy. I'll show you what it looks like here right now. So the dough looks a little good. Tilting a dough above a keyboard, what could go wrong? So the dough looks a little clumpy. Let's just show you like that. Ooh, ah. That's what it looks like right now. If you were to stick your hand in here and try and make a snowball, it should hold. We're gonna mix this just a little bit longer. I want it just to be a little bit wetter.
So just be mindful of the flour explosion.
Yes.
Turning up the speed. Mm.
Okay, at this point, I'm on speed 2. I can hear the dough rattling around in there, which is great. So when we last checked in on our dough, it was like snow powder. It's now a little bit more Play-Doh-y, which is great. We've got our bit of plastic wrap laid out. Nothing left in the bowl. We're gonna let the dough be as flat as possible. Okay. Dough. I can hear your applause, so thank you. If we weren't under time pressure, that dough is going to live for about 5 to 10 minutes in this freezer, or an hour or 15 minutes to an hour minimum in the fridge. Reason for that, it helps re-chill the butter and you get a bit of a flakier dough. As well, that dough was just mixing for minutes and minutes and minutes, and as dough with flour mixes, that gluten builds up and builds up and builds up. And what you do with store mussels, you ice them. Same with gluten, you ice gluten to relax it. Look at all these fun facts you guys are getting. This is great. And no one's punching holes in my gluten statement. Fantastic. All right, excellent. It is 6:35. We have made pie dough. We have got our roasting pan of vegetables in the oven, and our turkey is about to come out of the water. Any thoughts before I leave you for a minute? Nope? Great. Okay. I'm back. I missed you too. Our turkey is out of the water. Again, depending on the size of your turkey breast, if you've got a massive brontosaurus turkey, this might take a little bit longer. What I'm looking for here is, you can see that the turkey juices in your saran wrap or plastic pouch are clear. They're not pink. They're not running too cloudy. You should see a nice brown to clear liquid, as well as it should feel like a cooked turkey. Good news is, if you're a little unsure of your turkey's doneness, or you're going to bring out the thermometer and prove everybody in the house wrong, good news is it's going to roast for another 30 minutes in the oven. So even if it's medium well, this will be cooked by the time we're done cooking. What we're doing right now is building shape and building in tenderness. Okay. Great. Feels good. Feels like we're no notes on that either. Excellent. So at this point, you can take your water off the heat. Your vegetables can come out of the oven for a minute. Challenge. I feel nothing in my hands. If you need to cool down your turkey a little bit, you can run it under cold water while it's still in its plastic wrap. That'll make it a little bit easier to work with. Or you can just zipper it open and roll it onto your herbs. And if there are any juices that come out of the sack, here they are going into your roasting pan of goodness. So we have a roasting pan with a turkey breast on top of it. Vegetables and all that around. This is going to go in the oven again. You should notice that you should be able to smell your vegetables. They should be nice and warm. You should start to see that the apples are starting to brown a little bit of olive oil or butter or bacon fat over top of your turkey, and we're going to fire it in the oven. If you wanted to add your cranberries, we're not going to add that yet. We're going to wait 20 more minutes. Okay. Checking in with anyone that's cooking along. How are we doing?
Yeah, so for the dough, did you put it in the fridge or freezer?
I put it in the freezer.
So that it cool off faster?
So it would cool off faster. I just didn't want to be here vamping for 15 minutes while my dough chilled in the fridge. If it's in the freezer, it's on top of some ice. It's going to cool down really quickly, and I'll be able to use it faster and keep everybody on time.
Right. So when you were doing, when you have an extra time, definitely you can put it into the fridge as well.
If this was a Friday night, we had some whiskey and some wine, and we were pre-prepping for a meal happening another time, or we had an entire afternoon, that's, you go, put in the fridge, no pressure. Because if you forget it in the freezer, it's going to be much more difficult to work with. But if you forget it in the fridge, that's where it's supposed to be. I have all of you keeping me accountable for the dough in the freezer. Amazing. The laughter is deafening. Claire, how's the chat? Anyone try the spoon thing?
Nope. Doing good.
Very good,
and
everybody.
Just, staring at your turquoise KitchenAid appliance.
The beautiful Tiffany blue KitchenAid.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So our pie dough is chilling. We are going to mix brown sugar, cinnamon, and butter together to make a paste for that little pie dough experiment. This is very similar to like cinnamon buns without the puffiness. This is a very quick, easy, sugary, delightful bite that is very easy, especially if you make your own pies during the holidays. This is a beautiful dish to use up with all those pie scraps kicking around. Bring them up to a ball, roll them out, cover them in cinnamon and brown sugar, and the kids love it. Even if you have a bit of rosemary, fire that in there. It's great. Okay, a little bit of butter. This is around quarter cup. I'm going to melt this really quickly or soften it in my microwave because it's just a little cold. I'm going to make eye contact with all of you for a minute. Claire, we're doing great for time. I was worried.
Yeah. Doing great for time.
Soft butter. Squish it with a spoon. Perfect. We're going to add about a cup of brown sugar. And we'll add about a tablespoon of cinnamon. If you want to add any salt or vanilla to this, that'd be perfect. If you have white chocolate, that could also work out really well in here. And we're just going to mix this into a bit of a loose paste. Fantastic. See, we've made a brown paste. Excellent.
And how much brown sugar again?
That was a cup of brown sugar. Again, I didn't put recipes for sugarness and cinnamonness. You know what you like. If it's too sweet or it's way too much cinnamon, you can adjust. But I didn't really want to micromanage you fine folks, as I figured I think I've done enough. You can figure out how much. So I trust you. You'll be fine.
And Lori calls this as the pie dough cookies.
Okay, great. Yes, we're making pie dough cookies. Lori, did you grow up with these?
And Lori, feel free to unmute and speak. But yeah, she said yes.
Awesome. Okay, our pie dough has now come out of the freezer. I know you were worried about it just as much as I was. Amazing. We're going to flour our work surface. Our dough is going to pop out. Big old rolling pin, a little bit of flour on it. And we're just going to gently roll out our pie dough. If you've ever worked with pie dough before, also, sorry, if making pie dough is too much of a stress, using a pie, like a pre-made pie shell from the deli or the supermarket, thaw it, take it out of its pie tin, roll it out with cinnamon and brown sugar, roll it up, you're done. Perfect. But if you've ever worked with dough before and you notice that it shrinks back, whether it be pizza dough, pie dough, even cookie dough or bread dough, if it shrinks back really quickly, the dough is telling you that it's not ready to work out. It needs a minute to rest. So what you could do is just a little bit of plastic wrap, cover it, and wait 5 to 10 minutes and come back to it. And you'll notice that it's actually a lot more elastic and ready to move. But if you keep trying to force a dough that wants to shrink to move, it will snap and break, and you won't have a nice fluffy dough. Oh, this dough is so good. Worked out first time. Okay. Once you have your dough to a thickness that you like, I'm looking at about a 1/4 inch here. Nope, that's a lie. 1/8. Sorry. Sorry for all my Imperial fans out there. We're going to take our goop that we made and put it in the middle. smush it around with your hands or a spoon or a spatula. And if you've ever made cinnamon buns before, you'll notice that this is very similar. Even if some of your butter is not fully melted, that's okay. As these bake, that butter will melt and it will pull cinnamon and brown sugar to wherever it goes. Okay. Cinnamon on dough. We're going to roll this to a tight log. And rolled. Perfect. Pie tin, touch of butter. Or olive oil or Pam or nonstick spray or whatever you want, canola oil, avocado, peanut oil, all these things, whatever you need to do to get your tin all nice and greased up. When you're ready, slice, slice. As big and small as you want. We're going to shingle them out. These are not cinnamon bun, so they are not going to expand as much. They're just going to bake as is.
I'm excited how it's going to turn out, Steve.
Me too.
Can you use coconut oil? Any type
Yeah.
of oil to grease it out will work?
Absolutely. Again, with coconut oil or any, even, I hate saying the word no. So I was quick to judge there. If you use oil that has a flavor like avocado or coconut, expect that oil to come through in your product. Coconut, cinnamon, and brown sugar is not a terrible flavor combination. So please feel free to use that, but just expect some coconut coming through.
That's a good reference to make. Yeah.
Yeah. These are going to hang out, and I'm going to put them in the oven here in a second. I'm just going to clean down my station, and if anyone is cooking along, I'm going to give you a chance to catch up to me. These are not in the oven yet. Quick clean down here. Okay. We have been cooking for 45 minutes. Feels good. Our turkey is in the oven with its vegetable friends. Our pets are about to go in the oven. While they are in the oven, we're going to make the gravy for the turkey that's in the oven. And we're also going to add cranberries to the turkey pan. Great. Zero feedback. I love it. The other thing with the pets and the turkey is they're in the oven and your guests start to arrive and your whole house is going to smell like cinnamon and turkey and rosemary and potatoes and apples. It's perfect. Okay. Quick review. Pets going in the oven. So we have our turkey in the oven. We have our dessert in the oven. These are all going to come out at the same time. Those are going to cook for around 20 minutes. Okay. Turkey's in. We're gonna add cranberries to it here in a second. Once the cranberries go in, we're gonna make our gravy. Gravy's fun because we can do whatever we want to it. Again, last time the turkey's gonna come out. Cranberries. We're gonna make a little well here on the north side or east, whatever side of the pan you like the most. Add our frozen cranberries or fresh cranberries. If you have any honey or maple syrup, you can drizzle that over top of them as well. I'm gonna add a touch of black pepper.
That looks really yummy so far.
Thank you. I'm also gonna slice a little bit of lemon and add that to my cranberries. This whole unit's gonna go back in the oven. You'll notice that your turkey is starting to pick up some color. This is what we look like right now. Also, you'll notice that your bread is starting to dry out. Exciting. Okay. Exciting. Last thing. We're definitely gonna be done in 90 minutes. I'm very proud of all of you. You're doing a great job. Let's make some gravy. We have a pot heating up on the stove. Oh, look, another pot. In this pot, we're gonna add a little bit of butter or olive oil or coconut oil. Just remember what goes in there. I'm also cooking with unsalted butter. If there are any vegans out there, vegan butter, especially the Mykonos brand, works pretty much the exact same as real butter. It's awesome, and it makes a really great vegan product, if you care. So we have some leftover, we have a leftover garlic bulb. I'm gonna grab that here, play around with some garlic. We have the remainder of our onion from before. We're gonna use that here. And we're gonna use some of our chicken stock. This is a low salt or low sodium product. You can make your own. If you have your own, that's fine. If you have like a turkey carcass kicking around, go for it. This is a very simple, affordable way with not having to burn up too much of your excess product or anything like that. But if you do want to make your own chicken or turkey stock, very simply, carrot, celery, onion, a chicken carcass, especially from like a roasted chicken from Save-On or something, pick all the meat off of it, keep that bone, pot of cold water, carrot, celery, onion, maybe some garlic, bay leaves, rosemary, simmer it for 45 minutes, you have chicken stock. That's the easiest way I can explain it. There's a lot of like nuances to it, like how to make it not cloudy and all these things. That's a different class, but for $3 at a store, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, garlic chopped up here. My butter, I can hear it sizzling, which is good because I want it to be a little bit brown. Okay, quickly, garlic, chop, 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 chop. Captivated audience today. This is great. So a rough chop on our garlic. With the onion that I sliced as a demonstration before, I'm actually just gonna bring it here and do a nice rough chop on that as well. No tears, no crying in this kitchen. Everything's fine. This onion and garlic is going to head into this pot here. We're going to simmer that on medium high, touch of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And that's going to cook.
There's a reason why cooking class is scheduled in the dinner. Everything just looks so delicious right now.
Thank you. Okay, that's there. It's going to make you watch that pot for a second while I move some things around. And we're back. Okay, so that's cooking over there. I added salt and pepper now. Salt does two things. Pepper just does one thing. It's great. The reason why I add salt right now is salt does two things. One, it obviously makes food taste really good, but it helps break down enzymes. It actually helps your onions and vegetables and meat cook faster. For instance, a seasoned steak will sear differently than an unseared steak. Onions that don't have salt in them will actually cook longer, or will take longer to cook or to break down. And we want these onions to break down. If you're in a real hurry, a touch of baking soda to your onions will actually turn into a paste because it's an acid in powder form and it breaks everything down really, really quickly. And yes, I could nerd out about that more. So we're going to add some herbs to our gravy while our onion and garlic cook. I'm going to just grab a little bit of thyme. A couple sprigs of rosemary. Don't throw out your ends just yet. We're going to slice our turkey on top of them. Okay, so we have a little bundle of thyme and rosemary. Chop, 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 chop. We're now going to add this to our pot. And then your home is going to smell incredible. You'll see that there's a little bit of color on my onions, which is perfect. At this point, we're going to make something that's called a roux. If you're familiar with French cooking, or you've taken cooking classes before, you may be familiar with this process. We have butter, onion, and garlic here in the pan. A roux is a mixture of butter and flour mixed together in a pan or pot to turn to a bit of a paste. Then we're going to add liquid to that, and it's going to be a way to thicken a sauce. So again, in a pinch here, this is a very quick way to season and thicken a gravy. A little bit of flour. That was maybe 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Let me get a proper spatula here. Good. So our onions and garlic are cooking. We've added the flour. We're going to cook the flour in the butter here a little bit. Now you want it to kind of come together and really get to know itself and almost resemble a very hot Play-Doh. If you ever need a little bit more flour, feel free to add it now. If you add it later when you add the liquid, you'll end up with big flour clumps in your product. You don't want that. Great. So we're cooking, we're cooking, we're cooking. We're now going to add just a touch of our stock. We're not going to add all of it. Now I'm just cooking for myself and my wife here. If you're cooking for a family of 4, you might need a little bit more gravy. I'll let you figure that out on levels. We've added a little bit of liquid there. You can see that obviously it's a little cloudy and that liquid is mostly absorbed. What's happening is we're building the, again, gluten structures here in this sauce. Okay, again, we're coming back to it. You can see it's still thick. That's good. Add a little more stock. And we're gonna let this come up to temperature, and then it'll thicken again. And we'll just keep this process repeating for until we have the right volume. Also, using a low sodium product means that the only salt here is the salt I add, versus if I season this now and then added a salty broth to it, it's going to throw off our entire balance. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now we're starting to see it start to resemble gravy. Perfect. We're going to add a little bit more. Now it's going to be a little wetter, and that's fine. For those keeping score, I've added about 2 cups of stock here. And we're going to let this hang out. And I'm going to turn it down to a medium heat, and we're going to come back and check on it here in a second. And of course, your kitchen, your rules. If you like a loose gravy, great. If you like a nice thick gravy, even better. Completely up to you. You're in control. If you want a thick gravy, add more flour. If you want a loose gravy, add more liquid. Questions, comments, concerns? I'm very proud of you. You guys did great. Amazing. Nothing, we did it. This is awesome.
We're doing it great.
No comments in the, or no questions in the chat? Or
So far, so good.
Excellent. Okay. So we know that our dish is almost complete because of the time and how awesome you're all doing. We're going to chop up some parsley and a little bit of sage. And remember, keep your stems. So over here, we have parsley and sage, both soft leafy vegetables. And we're just going to do a nice chop. This is going to be our garnish over top. Okay. We have a nice chop of herbs. Sage is giving a nice fall autumn flavors. And parsley is going to add a nice touch of brightness. Okay. I'm going to check the oven. You stay there. Okay. Over to our gravy. Because we turned the heat down, it hasn't come up to a full boil yet. And we're just going to let this reduce a little bit and get to know itself. If at this point you wanted to add something like maple syrup, honey, I always like a touch of acid in my gravy, so I use a little bit of balsamic. Helps change the color too. If you want to make it spicy or add like mustard powder or anything like that, that changes this as well. Amazing. Okay. Dessert's in the oven, turkey's in the oven, garnish is ready to go, gravy's cooking, and we've been cooking for an hour. That's it. When I costed this recipe back in 2021, it feels like forever ago. This was before the cost of inflation. With the addition of a gravy pack, instead of making our own gravy, This recipe was actually under $50 for 4 people. I know things have changed, but if you, this is a very filling and easy Thanksgiving dinner to make. Please feel free to share these recipes with anyone that you think might need a hand this holiday season, because there's ways that we can get around big scary prices at the grocery store instead of burning so much money. Well, thank you, Siri. Ruining my monologue. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get around prices, and turkeys can be expensive. They can take a lot of time and energy. There's ways to get around this, and also if you're just cooking for 6 people, asking a butcher to break down half turkey for you just so you have a boneless, skinless, or even 2 turkey breasts, or even a couple chickens, whole chicken, salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil on top of that casserole dish, you've got everything you need. So, yeah, don't stress out this holiday season. We got you. Claire, how we doing? Any questions? Anyone have any questions at all about cooking at home, restaurants, anything? I have time to kill now, so we're just hanging out.
Seems like people are doing great. Looking forward to try this over the Thanksgiving that's coming up.
Nice.
Getting festive.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Using butternut squash instead of carrots, or even including squash like that, or acorn squash, is really good in this dish. Acorn squash in particular, those look like pumpkins, but they're green. Or kubacha squashes as well. You can actually eat the skin of those, so that's a fun way to break something down, and also adds another color and dimension to your entire dish.
There was a question Erin asked, what was the name of your place again? So I answer Milk Crate. Is there a reason why your shop is Milk Crate?
Great question. I called it Milk Crate because when we started off, we were just a catering company. And it was kind of a wink at the hospitality industry, where a lot of chefs and cooks and servers and bartenders and dishwashers would take breaks on milk crates, and they became like a table, a chair, a shelf. They were there to be supportive to people that were supporting others, and we wanted to be the metaphorical milk crate to your event. And then as we continued to grow and move into a coffee space and kind of figure out what hospitality means to us, the milk crate logo and mantra that we kind of started off as kind of grew into a bit more of a strength for us, and it just felt like a really good fit.
Yeah, definitely. I can attest to, the reason behind your shop is Milk Crate. It's a really good shop to drop by and then take a quick break and bite. So yeah, if you are around downtown, please check it out.
Yeah, it's downtown's going through some stuff right now in Edmonton, but it's not that bad. If we're there, it's a safe space. Perfect. Okay. Lydia's typing. Ooh, I can check the chat here. Ooh, I've got time. I never have time for this stuff. Yes, you should. Yeah, you might have to go there. Fantastic. Thanks, Erin.
Any signature menu that you would recommend for anyone?
Well, right now we're in a bit of a sandwich phase, but we're doing a lot of pies right now, as it is pie season. So we just made a whole bunch of pumpkin pies. We're going to be doing a tortillere probably after Thanksgiving, and we'll be pre-selling those that you could bake that in your house. We'll be offering vegan and meat-filled tortilleres, as well as we've got some really good sandwiches. We're doing a really cool French onion soup right now. It's fun. So we try and do weekly features between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Unfortunately, this week has been a little chaotic with all this extra catering that we've got going on. But yeah.
That all sounds amazing.
Thank you. Cool. Okay. So things are still cooking, and that's fine. Quick look at our gravy. Bubbling away. Got a little bit more stock. The rules with roux is once you add flour to something, you need to kind of cook it for about 20 minutes to cook off any flour flavor that you might experience. If you're using something like cornstarch, though, pretty much as soon as that cornstarch is dissolved into your product, you are good to eat it. Gonna get ready to plate up here. We are almost done. Okay. Oh, I just ate an apple. Oh, it's really hot.
And we're just chatting in the chat. Oh, French soup sound fantastic with a nice sandwich. We're all
Right?
drooling here.
Thank
Any top item at Milk Crate, Erin asked.
Well, we have two really good sandwiches. The Nana, which is kind of a spin on like a fried chicken sandwich, but we actually don't fry anything. And it's based off of one of our baristas, his Nana. We all really like her. And she was actually the president of the NAIT Society here in Alberta. She was had a really long run there. And we asked her, like, hey, like, what's your favorite meal? She came back to us with fried chicken. So, wow, great. We made a fried chicken sandwich called Banana. Really, really tasty. It's got some chili oil in it, some house-made pickles, smoked mayo. Heat it up. It's awesome. We also have a panini, which is a direct ripoff of the Italian center's like panini sandwiches that won the best sandwich in Edmonton on Edify, which to me is shocking, but also, well, if everyone loves those flavor profiles, why not? So we make our own red pepper paste, pickled peppers and onions, provolone, salami, ham sandwich. It's so good.
Yeah, and I must say, Erin, my top choice at Milk Crate is panini.
Yes. Also, our breakfast wrap and bagel bombs are really, really good. Okay. Cha. So here we have our finished product as we're getting close to the end here. What we're going to do is we're going to remove our turkey. And we're going to put it on top of those stems that we saved. Let's fire this bad boy back in the oven for a minute. Yes. Okay, good. Gravy's coming along. So what's happening here is we're resting our turkey on top of herbs or the stems that have given us other herbs. I don't know. Sorry, it's late. This is doing a couple things. One, it's elevating the turkey off the board. Also, the hot turkey is steaming the oils in the herbs. Those oils are going into the turkey. All just a big circle of life here. With your turkey, and you're ready, you can slice it. Of course, our turkey is cooked because it always is cooked. If you're ever in doubt, grab a stick or a fork, thermometer, cake tester, touch it to your lip. If it feels hot, it's cooked. If it feels like a hot tub hot, especially with poultry, it's not cooked. If it feels room temperature for like steak, it's medium rare. So we're gonna slice this turkey here. Oh my gosh. This.
Were you contemplating on the knife selection?
I was. But we panicked and we powered through.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that turkey looks steamy and good.
Very steamy and good. Okay. Excellent. Pull it off the herbs here. We have our turkey. Classic. Forgot about the other herbs that baked onto our stuffing. We'll remove them. Okay. We're gonna add some of our chopped herbs just over top. We're gonna grab our gravy and pour that over top as well. Save a little bit of that for later. Let's meet you over at this camera. And that's the finished product. So we have our stuffing underneath the turkey here. We've got these nice big chunks of steamy bread that have been cooking next to an apple. We have our garlic bulbs that have been roasting here. Cooked vegetables and potatoes. Everything here, it should just be a scoop and go. Your cranberries are breaking down. They're good to go as well. And we've added gravy over top of our turkey. Turkey, 1-pan dinner, 1 hour. Meanwhile, our pets have come out of the oven. Let's use this pen. Perfect. So we have our little friends here out of the oven, nice and hot. Pasta starting to become golden. Perfect. Put a pan over top of it. Plate. Dramatic move. 3, 2, 1. Yes. And now we've got these beautiful pie sticky buns or pie cookies or beautiful sticky buns, which is perfect. Go.
If I can teleport to your place, I would definitely do and try and eat them all.
So, with better, proper lighting, I'm not going to burn my hand. This is what your final pan looks like. Ah, ooh. And this is what your dessert looks like. We did it. We also have leftover buns. If anyone wants to make little turkey sammies out of this. Your potatoes are cooked, your cranberries are cooked. If, again, I'm a little bit faster. If your potatoes aren't cooked yet, it's okay. You can adjust and move things along. You can lower the temperature of your oven and cook things slower and lower if you'd like. Completely up to you. Good news is, you're not going to overcook anything. It's potato, It's a cooked turkey breast. It's already been sous vide, so it's always going to be moist. You're perfect. Any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns?
There's lots of oohs and ahs. It just absolutely looks delicious.
Oh man, I'm talented. Nice work, everyone. We did it.
Yeah. If you have a chance to look at the chat, Steve.
Oh, yeah, let me get in there.
Or, yeah, getting a lot of
Oh, okay. Great class. Oh, thanks. Trivia. Okay. Injecting humor into this class. Oh, thank you. Read a while back in the food magazine on my list. Oh, thank you so much. Can't wait for the weekend. Excellent. Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, yeah, it does look delicious. Well, I'm glad that you all made it to this class, and I hope that you got something out of this and it was entertaining, and you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable heading into the weekend. But this is very, very straightforward. Also, a video of this instruction is probably going to be available to you all. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. Claire, what else do we have?
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Those of you who were able to cooking in your own kitchen, I'm very excited for you to have this dinner. That looks really delicious. And those who are watching like myself, oh my gosh, I'm just drooling. So thank you, Stephen, for sharing your love and knowledge of cooking. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and I wanted to announce the next schedule events that's coming up here after you all enjoying the great Thanksgiving long weekend. On October 18, we've got Beyond the Journey Person Certificate, Now What? And on November 14, Public Speaking and Networking 101 is also coming up. I wanted to give a special thank you again to Affinity Program Partner TD Insurance and Lodge-Monics, a proud sponsor of tonight's event. To continue improving our program, we will be sending out a short survey after the event. We appreciate your feedback. If there is something that you would like to learn more about or in the event you would like to see us host, please let us know. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending. We hope to see you at the Future NAIT Alumni event. Steve, is there anything that you wanted to close off before we say goodbye?
Nope, just be kind to everybody. Have a wonderful holiday. And you remember, it's not the end of the world. It's just food. People are going to eat it in 20 minutes. You're going to be fine. It's going to be great. I'm excited to see what you all create.
All right. Thank you all and have a great evening.